Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Chase. Feels good to be back. Thank you, big thank you to the community, all you guys for bringing me back. Community initiative to get these videos going again. I will put the WAP link in my bio on Twitter and in the description for future videos. Today we'll be looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. I will also be teaching you guys one of my trading strategies, full breakdown of it, of how I do entries, where I put the stop losses, where the targets are. Really some of the more intricate details that will, take a typical idea and bring it from a beginner intermediate level to a more advanced level. So we'll go over that today. As always, nothing in these videos constitutes financial advice. Please seek a registered financial advisor. These videos are for entertainment purposes only. All right, let's get right into it. So first thing we're looking at is Bitcoin. Let's get right into the trade ideas. I know that's what a lot of people are always looking for, so we'll cover that first. This trading idea that I'm going to show you is based off of the strategy that I'm going to show you today. And a lot of my videos, will focus on the daily, the 4-hour time frame. Really want to focus on things that can be executed on, right? Like, if I give you a 5-minute idea, it's not really something that you're going to be able to, take it all in, get to the chart. It's probably already played out by then, right? So mainly focused on the daily and the 4-hour. We could move down sometimes, but that's where the majority of the content is going to be focused on. So let's work on that first. Right here on the daily, how do I break this down? Well, what I'm typically looking for when I'm looking at a chart, and especially people who have watched my previous videos, I'm looking for liquidity levels, right? I'm seeing, where are the stop losses? Where do the big players have those orders where if everyone gets stopped out, they can get all their limit fills filled? Because, right, a big player can't just market buy in the middle of anywhere, they'll push the price up. It'll also cost them more fees, etc. So they want to get stop outs and liquidations for sellers in order to fill their resting limit bids. Okay. Again, this is all stuff that we will cover more as time goes on. This video will definitely be a bit fast-paced, and it's not that I don't want to be here for an hour, but I know that the audience, the attention span is typically not an hour, right? So if we can get it done in 20-30 minutes, that's great. Maybe you'll have to rewatch it, that's fine. But yeah, let's get into it. All right, so daily on Bitcoin here, we are seeing a buildup of liquidity here. I talk about this often, and this is one of the trading strategies, or the trading strategy that I'm going to be showing you today. It's the buildup, the rinse, whatever you want to call it. I don't really have a name for it, but hey, let's call it the rinse. All right, so when looking for liquidity, right, we're typically looking for obvious lows, or we're looking to rinse the whole entire buildup. Now, this level here is relevant, but it's not necessarily where my bids are at the moment, and I'm going to explain this over time. Like I said, a lot to cover today. I think this low is relevant. If you go to like a 4-hour and you're like, hey, where is a lot of this resting? A lot of the liquidity resting. And I think you would see that, hey, there's a lot of buildup in here, right? Like a lot of stop losses probably resting below all this. So if people are, if we are in a strong bull trend, right, and people are very, let's use the word antsy to get into Bitcoin, right? They're being aggressive with their bids. I can see an argument for just sweeping this low rather than also sweeping this low, okay? But now here's the difference. We are going to allow for this low to be swept as well, okay? And this is a part of my strategy that I don't often communicate on CT, and I'm going to explain it to you guys here, is that on almost all of my entries, I'm allowing for 2 to 3 levels to support price, okay? So the liquidity of this level, I'm good with a bounce there. That's where my orders are. Okay, the liquidity of this level, I'm interested in a bounce there. And then you also have this gap in here, okay? So now that's 3 areas that you should find a bounce. If all 3 of those fail, that's fine. I'm invalidated. I'm stopped out, okay? That is fine. But the point is that I'm giving the trade many chances. And I'm going to show you this with other examples too. And all the examples will be from trades that I called live on crypto Twitter. No hindsight, none of that. All right. So looking at this trade, just in a simple fashion, It's this low. Where's the target? Well, you have these equal highs here. They're relative equal highs. I don't know if this was swept on all exchanges. And then you have this next high here. Okay, so when looking at this chart, you're breaking it down. You have a liquidity level here, liquidity level here. If you're looking for something intraday, you can just take the most recent daily low. There you go. That's where we're seeing a rejection right now. And this is how I would have my chart labeled. I think a lot of people, go way overboard on the chart. They're marking up things that they're not trading. Okay, they're saying, oh, well, we have a resistance here. Oh, we have a support here. We have a support here, a support here. Now, all these lines, but you're not trading them. So what are the point of all these lines? I see so many charts with so many lines that I don't really understand. Liquidity, intraday resistance. Okay, that's all we need. We're looking for trades off of here. We're looking for trades off of here. We have FOMC coming up this week that could trigger, this level to come into. Before I get into ETH and Sol, let's break down the strategy a bit more. Okay, so going back to Bitcoin, this was this trade on March 4th. Okay, as you could see, called this ahead of time. I'd be interested in long the box for a bounce. There it is. Okay, you could see, we took the profit. Took the position. I told you, filled long at 60K. There it is. We filled it. And yeah, I'm just making sure none of my, we're good. So you can see that the position was filled. You could see where I had the box labeled. Okay. And if we play it out, there you go. You get the sweep into the box and you go up. Now, how does this work out? Well, this is the rinse. Look at these daily lows building up, okay? So you had all these daily lows building up. None of them were sweeping each other, okay? This one swept this one, but nonetheless, that's not everything, right? So you had all these daily lows building up. If you look at the 4 hour, you could see it even more clearly, okay? Then we get back to the daily. And as I told you guys originally, it's not just about one level, it's about multiple levels, right? So how did I trade this? Let me take my tool. You get in. Now, where's the stop? The stop is below 3 different levels. Can you figure out what they are? Well, first, you should bounce from the liquidity. Second, you should bounce from the gap, if not from liquidity. Why? Because there was big buyers in here, right? Huge move up, big buyers. If you were to get a retest of that area, you would think that people who didn't get a chance to get in this move because it moved so quickly, they're looking to get in, okay? And you could also think that buyers are looking to defend their level. 3 different reasons there, but point being, now we have one more level here that's important. This resistance to this support. So you have an SR level right here. Okay, so those are your 3 levels that give you your entry point. The liquidity sweep, the gap, and the support and resistance. Where was the target on this? I was calling for mid 70Ks. We're looking at a 3R trade here, okay? If we look over to here, I said TP'd 40% of my Bitcoin position from 60K here at 72.1K. Okay, so this was all called live. We went to 72 plus. I eventually took more profit on this. I forget the exact chain of events, but there you go. There's your trade for over 3R. Okay, and probably ended up with something closer to 2R though if I got trailed out eventually or something. It might have been 2.5. I forget exactly what it was. Okay, so that's how you're going to figure the entry and the stop. Those will be the first 2 things we're talking about. The entry will be a confluence of 2 to 3 levels, and the stop will be below that 2nd or 3rd level. Okay? Now we can get rid of this. We can get rid of this. And we can get rid of this. Moving on to the next one. This one's not exactly the same, so we can save this one. Actually, no, I'll explain this one. All right, so Solana. This was the weekly level on Solana. We'll go to the Solana chart. There's the weekly level. If you had broken down to a lower time frame, you could also see a liquidity level here. Now, there's a liquidity level here too. Why this level over this one? Because on the higher time frame, there was a weekly support block. Okay, that's the difference here. So you got to keep in mind sometimes with some of these trades that you need to refer to a higher time frame and say, okay, well, that's why I'm taking this level over this one. And now if I go back to our Bitcoin trade right here, you might see this. You might say, oh, well, look at this. You have a daily level here. So even though we're allowing for a sweep of this level, we're allowing for it, this is a level here that isn't fully tested, which is why I think that the sweep could simply come from this level rather than all the way down. Now keep in mind, we are allowing for this, we're allowing for this, and we're allowing for the gap, right? And if we took that trade and we look at it, we're going to say, oh, okay, so we're getting about 2R here, and that's a great trade. 1.5R is a great trade, okay? I think there's a lot of CT charts talking about, 10R and whatnot, but the thing is they're not posted beforehand, okay? And if they are, there's very few of them. There's a lot of 10R charts that come after the trade, right? They'll talk about a level and then they show you this, but that's not real, okay? So if you're drawing a 10R beforehand, respect to you, but if you're drawing the 10R after, we all know you didn't get 10R, okay? Hopefully everyone has their water. Let's get a sip in. Just had to double check that we're recording. We're all good. All right. Solana. So this was the weekly level. On the daily, this was the daily sweep. And where are we looking to take profit on this? Simple, guys. Profit is typically always going to be from liquidity to liquidity. Okay? Where's the liquidity here? Should I give you this alpha now or should I save it for the next one? I'll save more of it for the next one, but it has to do with looking at more recent price action to gather your levels. I'll explain that more in the next video. Okay, so looking at this, I would just say, well, before we had this huge breakdown into this weekly level, right? This is a weekly level. This is daily liquidity. So we would think that price would go back up to the daily liquidity. And as we can see, it does very quickly. If we go towards my Twitter here, we can see TP'd more of my Sol 120 buys here at 150. There was the liquidity at 154. Looks like I TP'd a little bit early. It was a very quick bounce, so I probably just wanted to lock some in, but nonetheless. Excuse me. So liquidity to liquidity. All right, simple as that. That was the Solana trade. It was a weekly level, daily liquidity. Stop was below the weekly level, right? So if we were to take a risk reward tool on this one, and I think I was sleeping, so I think I got in a little late. I think I got in at like 122 or something, but stop below the weekly level, target liquidity around here. So it was about a 1.3R trade, all right? Great. So now we can close Solana, we can close this chart, and we can close this tab. All right. Moving on to another rinse trade that I called live, all right? And guys, I'm not going over these to brag or whatnot. The point of going over these is to show you guys how to implement it yourself. If you understand it well, if you see all these examples and you see that I called them ahead of time, right? This isn't hindsight. If you see that all these were called ahead of time, look at this daily low, look at the buildup, look at the buildup, look at the buildup. Liquidity, liquidity. Okay, we're gonna go over to that chart. We're gonna look at it. I'm going to say, oh, there's the fill, and there's the liquidity, okay? There's the fill, there's the liquidity. If we go down to a 4-hour, I probably used a 4-hour here to find my stop because I'm not seeing a ton on the daily. I forget exactly how I did this, but let's look at it. So, as always, stop is right below the swing, entry point is right below the swing level, all right? Keep this in mind. There is variance to these markets, and we're not going to be perfect with our entry every single time. You don't want to be the person who's like, oh, well, I want to enter the sweep here. No, just enter at the level. Excuse me. Enter at the level. Okay, that's it. We're entering at the level. It's as simple as that. That's taking it from a beginner intermediate level to an advanced level that we're getting a fill almost every time. And I'll have a story for you about a recent trade that I missed the fill. I came back. I didn't listen to my own rules. I tried to be a little bit more greedy with the entry, and I got screwed on it. Okay. Most likely the way I did this was liquidity here, SR here. That would be my guess of how I did it, which would be the stop here, and that would have netted you a 2R trade. Great. Okay. Eth, there it was, drawn ahead of time. I'm interested in the 3100 long before we go above 3300. What did we do? We went, we rinsed, we did the rinse, we went to 3300. Okay, there's another example of the rinse trade. I don't know why I'm coughing today. And there was 70% of the long position closed. Plan was called in advance. There you go. Let's close that up. All right, I think we're down to the last two here. Bear with me, right? I understand we're looking for recent trade ideas, but this is how we're going to get to those trade ideas and how you're going to understand them, how you're going to implement them, because I won't always be here, right? Now let me say, what comes to the WAP service and whatnot, and I'll be uploading the videos to there from now on. I will be doing this for at least a minimum of 3 months, okay? So you could do the 3-month sign up if you want. At the end of the 3 months, I'll see what type of interest there was, and if the numbers are the same as when I had exchange sponsors, I'll be doing this indefinitely. It's really as simple as that. Before these, before I stopped doing videos, I've been doing them for 6 years. I've been doing them since 2018 or something. A lot of the old ones I made hidden because they're strategies I don't really use anymore and whatnot, right? But yeah, I'll be doing these videos for quite some time, as long as the interest is there. Okay, and we'll talk more about that at the end. We'll talk about the whole WAP thing and everything. All right, Bitcoin. This was the one that I made the mistake on. I said there was a liquidity draw in the weekly time frames. Short-term pullback to 69,570K is a good opportunity. Okay, and if we go to that, we can see we had just the slightest sweep. And what does it do? Where's the target? As always, the target's liquidity. And this actually does sweep this. It was just so little, okay? And that's why I'm telling you guys to just enter at the swing level, okay? I'll show you another example real quick on NVIDIA. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the high on this candle, right? So I played this one. I didn't call this one live, right? But look at the sweep of the buildup, right? The sweep of the buildup. It's easier seeing a high time frame, but I just want to show you one thing. Look at this high. This high right here is 122.38. This high is 122.39. Okay, 1 cent. And that's why you have to be in on these liquidity trades, okay? So you get the very little sweep there, you get the very little sweep there. That was the difference. I didn't follow my own rule here. I missed that trade. It would have been a great trade. Nice and simple, right? How would I have played it? Let's take our tool. Entry would have been right at the level. Stop would have been right below the gap in the SR. 1.61R, okay? Again, let me show you guys this. The entry, liquidity, the gap. That's one level, the liquidity. The gap is the second level. The third level is the support and resistance. That is 3 levels of confluence that all have to be broken through in order for you to lose. Okay, that's the big difference right here that I'm showing you guys. It's not just about the liquidity, it's about the confluence of the levels all around this trading strategy. So there has to be at least 2 to 3 reasons for the entry, all confluent with each other. And if they all get invalidated, you were wrong. Okay, it's as simple as that. But there's got to be 3. Okay, and then we know where we're targeting. We're targeting liquidity. We know how we're placing the stop. We're placing the stop below the 3rd level of confluence. All right. So this one, and now let's go to the trade that I'm currently in. Trade that I'm currently in is F. Again, look at this line. I draw it ahead of time, right? Just taking out this low. Why? Because we're coming into a weekly level. Now, I did have bids below both levels, right? I'm ready for both of them, but so far, we've only taken the top one. I do have bids here as well, looking for this weekly level to hold, okay? You powered through this weekly level in a major way, right? Let's just delete everything real quick. And now we're getting back into normal analysis, right? You powered through this weekly level in a major way. You're retesting it here. You would think weekly liquidity should be next. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for on this. Looking for the move into here. Looking for the move into here. and boom, right to weekly liquidity. Okay, confluence for that is seeing your low here, your low here. You have this big gap here. My stop on this one, let's see, I believe it's somewhere around 32 or 33. If we get an average entry around here, yeah, I think it's like I want to say it's like a 1.3R trade or something. It's something like this. Yeah, this is something like it. Look, the way liquidity works, right, for me most of the time is you either sweep it and you bounce or you fulfill. Okay, there's not a ton in between that I typically see. It's either a sweep and a bounce or it's a fulfill. Okay, like I said, look at, you look at trades like this, sweep and a bounce. You look at some of those previous trades I just showed you, you get a sweep and you get a bounce. If you're going to fulfill it, it's typically pretty bearish. Okay, moving forward, let's see. All right, so I think now it's just a time for a recap of everything, and we'll start wrapping up. Okay, we're gonna rip through this now, because you guys have learned, right? You guys understand the strategy now, so let's rip through. This is how I'm marking my levels for the day, saying okay, liquidity here, daily SR here, gap below here as well, FOMC coming up. This build up here is the rinse. That's the build up. Looking for the build up to be taken out, looking for a bounce to liquidity. Okay, simple as that. Moving on to Ethereum. I move to a weekly chart. You can start with a weekly, you can start with a daily. So if, let's say you didn't want to start with the weekly, you're not ready yet, you're more about just the daily, the 4 hour, you can find the same level right here, guys. Origin of this big breakdown. Origin of the breakdown. That's what we like to see, these big moves. Pay attention to these big moves. Look at when this big move comes down and when we blast through it. What happens when we blast through it? This previous resistance flips into support. Flips into support here. If we were to come and sweep this low, I would think that since it has proved this support once, it can prove as support again, simply just sweeping liquidity and pushing upwards, okay? That's where I'm at with ETH at the moment. Targeting local liquidity first, more liquidity later. But at first, we just, we go level to level, right? There's a lot of these trades, guys. There's a lot of these trades where if I held them, right? This ETH trade, remember this one? There was the buildup, there was the sweep, there was the take profit. If I held that, right, I would have got stopped out. So even though we got this candle later, that's not what trading is. Trading is taking, that might be what trading is to some people. A big swing trade on a weekly level with a much wider stop. But the way I'm going to be showing you, it's going from these liquidity levels to these liquidity levels, these SRs to the SRs to the gaps, okay? That's what it's about. It's not about just buying a level and holding or selling a level and holding. That's not how I operate, okay? We're precision here. We're entering with precision, we're exiting with precision. That's it, okay? So that's what we're looking for on ETH. Solana. How do I see Solana at the moment? I haven't marked up this chart much lately, to be honest. I've been more focused on ETH and BTC. Big move down, price comes up, finds resistance here, deviates above, comes back, finds resistance here on the retest and breaks down. Looks like we're now into a liquidity level with a gap and an SR below. You would think that this is going to hold, but honestly, the thing is that Bitcoin and ETH are showing more strength at the moment. Oh yeah, people hate when I say ETH. Bitcoin and ETH are showing more strength at the moment, right? If we do see Bitcoin come down to say a 66K level, I could see Solana going for this obvious low here, okay? Just something to keep in mind. I'm personally not in a sold trade at the moment. I don't have any sold bids at the moment. I am more or less looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Showed you my setups for those. Looks like this, and ETH looks like that. Okay, so I gave you guys the big breakdown of the trading strategy. We went over Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Sol. Let's quickly talk about the WAP service. What I'll be doing is I'll be uploading one video per week at the minimum. All right. If I'm feeling more, maybe I'll do more, but there'll be at least one video per week at the minimum. I will do another video this week between Wednesday and Friday, most likely. Probably wait till FOMC, see if any of these things play out. I'll provide an update then. Again, guys, what you see is what you get. If you liked this video, this is what it's going to be like, right? That's why it's $50 and not $150 or $250 like some of the groups on CT. It's not a direct signal service. It's going to be showing you guys trade ideas. It's going to be doing analysis. It's going to be educating you guys on how I find my setups, right? Hopefully this video has really given you an idea of how I find my setup and how I trade it with the stop and the target and the entry points and the reasoning for the stops and the targets. Okay, so this is the type of content you can expect. I have a good amount, more alpha to deliver. I've been trading for coming up on 8 years now, and I think any trader will tell you every single year, you're essentially trying new things, you're learning new things. Years ago I was in paid groups. I've been through everybody's content. I feel like the way my style developed was through so many different, just taking a piece of so many different places, from I don't know, it's hard to explain. It was just from everywhere. And then the reality is, I'd say like 2 or 3 years ago, I really started to just lean on my own experience a lot more. And I think that probably taught me the most, was just to, sometimes you'll just look at the chart and you'll be like, oh yeah, I know what's coming next. I've seen this before. It's pattern recognition to a degree, okay? So got a ton of stuff to share with you guys. Really excited to get this going. Again, thank you very much to everyone for getting this community initiative going. I'm looking forward to it. If you have any questions, just leave a comment, hit me up, shoot me a DM, whatever. Thank you very much, everybody, and I will see you when you sign up to WAP. It'll be in the courses section, right? So I'll be uploading videos to the courses section, and you can watch through there. All right, thank you, everybody, and I will see you soon. Peace out.